On behalf of everyone at WagerTalk Media, we would love to wish the legend himself, Mr. Dave Koken, a happy 68th birthday. Dave turned 68 on Wednesday, but in typical Vegas fashion, we're celebrating for a whole week. Until Sunday at midnight, you can celebrate with the legend himself by getting 10 days of Dave Koken's picks for only $68 by using coupon code LEGEND68 at WagerTalk.com. Happy birthday, Dave!
Teddy Covers, I'm back, recharged, refreshed, and ready to go. And hello to you, my friend. Welcome everyone to Wager Talk Today. Marco D'Angelo right off the top, 2021 royalty, Teddy. This guy, boy, he's struggling to lose a play. We're going to talk national championship game, mid-major Matt. We're going to talk national championship game props. And, of course, Ralph Michaels. How are you, Teddy? Did you miss me? Are you thrilled I am back?
So I hadn't really thought about it that much until you actually started the show. I'll say it's nice to see you, Lawrence. All that being said, I enjoyed, Merrill filled in very capably last week. You didn't get Wally pipped, but bring your A game, brother. Merrill did a nice job in your replacement, but it's good to have you back. And I love the fact that you opened up the show saying you don't even say welcome to the program. You just say Teddy Covers as the very first words out of your mouth. I appreciate that.
Well, dude, you're Teddy freaking Covers. Outstanding week by you. Outstanding week and all around. Lead story today, dude. Not so outstanding for Pittsburgh. Cleveland wins the week. Cleveland wins the game. What a game, man. And it's hard to find turning points in a game that starts with a bad snap touchdown and then 3 turnovers and more touchdowns. But Mike Tomlin, man, he made some really bad calls. This team had so much momentum going into that fourth quarter. Should have kicked a field goal. But more importantly, Teddy, down by 12, 4th and 1 at midfield. He decided to punt, and I felt that that's where the momentum swung back to Cleveland. That was a terrible call by Mike Tomlin, but a hell of a fun game to watch. I had Cleveland and the over, so I cheered. What a weekend of football, Teddy.
Sure. And obviously ending on Sunday night with the big upset, the teaser killer that the books so desperately needed after, it didn't matter which side you had in the first 2 games. Teasers cashed both ways, and the Browns' definitive win over Pittsburgh. Any Steelers teasers, obviously, and there were a fair few asking Pittsburgh just to win the game. Those all crashed and burned. It's easy as a Monday morning quarterback to say the Steelers coaching staff did this wrong, the Steelers coaching staff did that wrong. I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, when you see the Browns in a formation with one receiver and somehow that one wide receiver ends up matched up against a linebacker, that's on the opposing coaching staff. All right. When you have a team that's down 13 and kicks the extra point to go down 12, that's on the coaching staff.
Yep.
When you have when you have a punt from 4th and 1 at midfield, that's on the coaching staff. Not one of Tomlin's better games, but when you're down 28-0 right off the bat after turnovers and miscues, I mean, the Steelers' first quarter was as bad as it gets. Once you have a situation like that where your entire game plan is thrown out the window, sometimes you see coaches and teams make, all kinds of failures. And certainly, let's give Cleveland some credit, but let's be honest, this was more Pittsburgh bad than Cleveland good.
Yeah, but you know what? And I accept what you're saying with the coaches, but Mike Tomlin's a veteran coach. He's been there. He's done that. There honestly should be zero excuses. I just want to make a quick comment to one of the guys in the chat room, and we've had this before, Teddy. Vegas Dave buys commercials on YouTube, and every now and again they are at the beginning of our shows. I just want to say for the record, We don't endorse Vegas, Dave. We have no say in the commercials YouTube puts up on our shows. Zero. There's nothing to do with us. Marco D'Angelo. Well, you want to say something?
Yeah, it's more important to say that we don't endorse Vegas Dave. Or we condemn Vegas Dave. All right. What Vegas Dave will do is take your information and cold call you and try to rip you off for thousands. Don't do it. Don't make the call. That's an ad. It's on our show. It disgusts me, and I won't be any part of it. There you go. That's my opinion of Vegas Dave.
Wow. Wow. Marco D'Angelo, dude, what an honor, man. Fresh off of a monster weekend, and your entire 2021 has been outstanding. Dude, you had Indianapolis as the $2 Tuesday, broke records. It almost won the game. 5% play on the Rams. Dude, did you know that Wolford was going to get hurt real quick, and then Jared Goff was going to come in and actually manage the game beautifully? Were you on the in?
Well, I was actually on the Rams defense, and that's where I was at with this game. I totally thought that they would shut Seattle down, and I like taking a defensive team, getting points. And actually when we released it and I put it in my write-up, guys, we weren't sure whether it was going to be Goff or Wolford. And I said, I am fine either way because obviously with Wolford, he brings some different elements that Seattle has to deal with as far as him running the football. And ironically, it was him running the football that got him knocked out of the game. But it was a great weekend, guys. And the Colts game, I tell you what, if you notice my forehead's a little bit higher today. I lost a few more strands over the weekend as I was just absolutely losing my mind talking about stupidity with coaches over the weekend. And we could do a whole segment on all the mistakes that Frank Wright made in that game as well. But I agree with you guys wholeheartedly about Mike Tomlin. Might have been the worst coached game I have ever seen him in his tenure at Pittsburgh. And when that first play happened, guys, I don't know about you, but I had an immediate flashback to the Super Bowl with Seattle and Denver. If you remember how that game started with Peyton Manning having a ball go right over his head and into the end zone and a Seattle safety to start the game, and then just unraveled from there. And Pittsburgh, just bad decision after bad decision and turnovers. And some were bad and some were fluky. The snap over the head, the tip, the batted ball, and so forth. But let's give it to Cleveland. They broke the 17-year drought.
Marco D'Angelo, everybody. Marco, let's get into the championship game tonight. Everybody's going to be watching it. Alabama, -8. There's a couple of 9s out there, and the total 75. The total suggests an exciting football game. How are you going to handicap this one? Where are we going with it?
Well, first I'm going to say with full disclosure, I have in my pocket some money line parlays with Alabama. And the whole purpose of that when I did it was is I think Alabama wins the game straight up. And I wanted to be in that position. But I also wanted to be in the position, depending on how many live money line parlays I had working, to wait and see what happened with this line game day. Because as you know, John Q. Public, they're going to come pouring in the last 3 hours before kickoff with their money and to see if this line, where the high water mark goes. As you said, there are some 9s out there, and then it would present me with some opportunities if I wanted to hedge some of it back on Ohio State plus the points. But let's break the game down. And guys, I'm going to start right off the bat with pure and simple. I think this Alabama offense is the best offense I've seen in college football. When you start with a running back, Harris, that has 1,262 yards rushing this season, 24 touchdowns, that's Heisman Trophy candidate. Did he win the Heisman Trophy? No. Okay, let's move to the next guy. We got Mac Jones, the quarterback. He completed 76% of his passes this year, 3,700 yards. He's got a touchdown to interception ratio of 32-4. Okay, he won the Heisman Trophy. No. You go to a third player on this team, Devontae Smith, the wide receiver, 1,500 yards receiving, 17 touchdowns, over 15 yards per catch average. Yeah, he's the guy that won the Heisman Trophy. You had 3 legitimate Heisman Trophy candidates on one team, guys. What does Ohio State stop? There is no team in the Big Ten that comes close to this offense that Ohio State is seeing. And yes, they demolished Clemson. No question about that. But you know what? That's my problem with this whole game. I know this is the national championship, and I know teams are not going to be flat for a national championship. So I'm not trying to say that. But guys, when you talk about a satisfying win, how many times during that broadcast of the Clemson-Ohio State game did they put up on the screen the shot of, in the locker room, they had on the wall the score from last year, Ohio State-Clemson game? They made it their mantra for the entire year. Every time they walked into the locker room to start a practice, come off the field, finishing a practice, that is what they looked at. And they got their revenge opportunity in the playoff game, the first round, and they did it in grand fashion. I just don't know how mentally you can get there to have that same type of performance today. So I'm going to be pure and simple. There are a lot of different ways to bet this game. You can bet the side, the total. The total, I don't want any part of anything that involves an under in this game because I don't see either offense stopping the other offense. And the question is going to be, as far as the spread goes, is will any of these defenses be able to hold a team to a field goal? And if you exchange a couple touchdowns for field goals, that is going to be the difference in the point spread. History has said you bet the dog in the national championship since we've gone to this format. Every year until last year did we see the underdog cover or win the game outright. Last year, LSU, with what was maybe the best offense of last season, did it and covered. But I'll tell you what, this Alabama offense is much better. So I'm probably going to look at some player props. I can also look at team totals. You know, if you're betting an over, the old adage is you need 2 teams to get the total there. If you like one team better than the other, play the team total with just that team in case the other team does settle for a couple field goals here and there. So I like Alabama in the game. I think they win this game. Do they blow Ohio State out? It is definitely a possibility. But with that offense of Ohio State, they can stay in the game. But here's the other question. And we know he's going to get whatever he needs to play in this game. But Justin Fields, he took a tremendous shot. I don't know how he came back in the game last week and finished that game. It has to hurt him in practice this week. And if he takes a couple shots, how's it going to affect him in this game? I like Alabama. I like the game over, but I'm going to do some creative things as far as my betting goes tonight. And I will look for some good in-game opportunities because if one team does jump out to a lead, you're going to get a sweet number with the back door always being open.
So I want to talk about the Justin Fields thing for a moment. Then I wanted to ask you a question because the info I had on Justin Fields, and I just want to share that with the viewing audience. And again, this is from the doctors who aren't actually treating him. But the opinions seem to be that if you shoot him up with a painkiller, he'll be able to go through 4 hours tonight and perform effectively. There wasn't a ton of concern that Justin Fields was going to be ineffective because of the rib injury. But you said something that really intrigued me. You said this Alabama offense may be the best one you've ever seen. You said they're way better than LSU last year. I was trying to think of the best offenses that I've seen in college football. And LSU last year certainly stands out. I was thinking about 2004 USC with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and Lendale White, Dwayne Jarrett, and I forget Steve Smith at receiver. You know, I mean, they had no shortage of NFL talent on those type of teams as well as the offensive line. You really think this Alabama team isn't just better than last year's LSU or better than 2004 USC, but way better than those? Because if you are, you got to be betting Bama tonight.
I do. But the problem with that is, and there's a big problem with it, the Alabama defense has given up a lot of points this year. The teams with the good offenses, and look at, I know they dominated, Notre Dame last week, except on the scoreboard as far as the final score goes. You had, Mac Jones, what did he complete? 25 of 30 passes. It's incredible. But this team can give up big plays. We saw them have a lead against Florida, and then we saw that game get precariously close late. That is a concern with this. And, Nick, give them credit, okay? This isn't Alabama football from 10 years ago. It's not, use the old cliche. This isn't your father's Alabama Crimson Tide. He moved away from a stout defense and pound the football down the throats. He's gone full bore, focused on the offenses. And unfortunately, the defense has suffered. This is probably the worst Alabama defense I've seen in, maybe in the last decade. And I feel pretty confident in saying that as well whenever I, start the show with it's the best offense of all time. So that's my problem, Teddy. And when you're dealing with an 8-point spread, moving to 8.5, and as you said, some 9s start to pop up, that becomes a concern. The back door is always open. And that's why I tried to get myself in a position where I had Alabama in situations where they just had to win this game tonight.
So let me talk about the total for just a minute here, Marco, because we're definitely seeing a little bit of sharp money on the under in early betting action today. The 75s and a half have been wiped out. There's 75 with under, juice to the under at several leading indicator books. It takes 11 touchdowns to get this game up and over the total. We're talking about an Alabama offense that's as elite as any. Is this a game where you would be seriously considering an over bet, or is this total just too high?
Well, like I said, there are creative ways to play this game. You can look at, if I think Alabama's going to score points, I can look at Alabama team total. Alabama team totals at 41 for this game around town. Then you don't have to have both, because the general consensus from a lot of the people that I have talked to, or things that I've read, people that, maybe I do, consider sharp, for Ohio State, they're going to try to run the football if they can. They don't want to get in a shootout with Alabama, and they do have a running back that, can dominate a game. The problem with that is if you settle for a field goal once or twice along the way and Alabama's putting up touchdowns, then it takes you out of the game plan. And you're going to have Justin Fields have a game like he had last week to stay with Alabama. Can they do that 2 weeks in a row? We saw a Justin Fields last week that we hadn't seen before. Now, obviously, Alabama sees the game tapes and seeing what they prepared for Clemson with, so there will be some adjustments there. But yeah, Teddy, there are different ways to do this. And how about this? The tendency in big games like this is early on, the teams try to fill each other out sometimes. How many times have you seen a national championship game or a Super Bowl, the first few minutes of the game, it starts out slow, and then you see a little bit of an adjustment in the in-game wagering on the total, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. That's also an opportunity. If we have one of these teams, doesn't score on the first drive and eats up 3 or 4 minutes and punts the football, and then the other team, has, a little bit of a drive and uses some clock as well, you're going to see an adjustment in game. And that's an opportunity to jump in because we know these teams are going to score. So this is a great game for me where you're going to have a lot of scoring to look at in-game wagering. And I will be glued to the TV set tonight like everybody else, and I will have every one of my apps open and looking at in-game wagering. Unfortunately for us in, the business that we're in, you can't help clients in-game wagering. You can give them some things to look for, but you can't be there because of the time-sensitive manner of things to have them ride along with you. But
Marco,
yes.
What a perfect time to stop you on the word time sensitive. We love you, bro. Oh my God, can you talk without interruption? Dude, you and I, if we were gay, we would not be able to date. I would be interrupting you every 2 minutes until you slap me upside the head. Woo!
Wow,
Okay,
what a
brother.
fantasy I just had of slapping you up alongside the head.
Yeah, well, hey, I get it, bro. I get it. Listen, dude, you're on a 12-2 football run. Guys, do not sleep on Marco D'Angelo. 22-8 in this year already, right? Like all plays combined.
Yes, sir.
On
It's been a good run.
outstanding stuff, man. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. What do you have anything in play tonight?
I do have a play on tonight's game, and I may be adding some more to that package. So you will get right now one play in the $9 Monday package. And as I see some more stuff, we'll be adding to it.
Guys, I know Teddy is so humble and kind, so sweet and fine. He's not going to promote himself, so I will. I got to play tonight, $9 Monday on the game. Don't bother with me. Don't bother with Marco. Teddy's got a 5%er. 5% play from Teddy tonight on the big game. That's the play to buy. Plus, you can buy me and Marco too because we're cool. Marco, we love you, bro. Thanks for joining us, man. And again, outstanding stuff. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Teddy's big bad beat segment and as well Matt Joseph. So much going on this show. Marco, feel free to talk yourself to oblivion for the rest of the day. Love you, bro.
Take care, guys.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9. Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and
Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the sports betting world. We have a weekend to cover. I'm going to start. Well, let's do bad beats first. That's the way to do it. We'll do bad beats, then we'll do bad bets, and we'll do bad for the books. Talk about the whole weekend. Bad beats. Well, let's see. The Bears, and it wasn't that bad of a beat. The Bears were not the right side in that game, but Jimmy Graham catches the incredible touchdown on the final play of the game, and the rules in place. You don't have to kick an extra point. You don't have to go for two. Instead, Graham catches a touchdown, runs into the locker, and guess what? The Bears lose by 12. They were plus 9.5. They were plus 10. They were plus 10.5. And most books were plus 11 at close. A huge non-extra point / non-2-point conversion try at the end of that game makes it tough for Chicago backers. Boy, if you watch the NBA on Saturday, you had bad beats central. All right. The Nuggets closed minus 13.5. They opened minus 5.5. They're up 20 the whole game against a Sixers team that doesn't have anybody. And literally 2 minutes left. They're up 20 and the Sixers start raining threes. The final minute, they only win by 12. What did we say last week? Don't come late to a wise guy party. If you laid 13.5, 13 with Denver, you got the worst of the number, and it cost you. Bad beat with Philly's late rally. What about the under for the Spurs T-Wolves on Saturday night? That was one of the most exciting final minutes in NBA regulation you'll ever see. Back and forth, both teams draining threes. It was really incredible action. And they got into the final minute, 107-106. You got 23.5 points to save yourself from the under in the final minute until it went to overtime. Overtime is where unders go to die. What about the Heat? They're minus 5.5. Bet up to minus 10.5. The Wizards' backcourt is sitting. Beal and Westbrook both out. Miami's up 14 with under 2 to play. And then what happens? The rookie before Washington, Avija, goes nuts. He hits 3 threes from the parking lot. If you watched him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There were like 30-footers. He hit all 3. And Washington lose by only 4. Tough beat. Bad beat for Miami. When it comes for bad bets, I mean, the Steelers got bet up yesterday, -3.5 up to -6 against the Browns, -5.5. There was some buyback. The wise guys were all over Cleveland, but Pittsburgh obviously never in the game. And the one thing that keeps standing out to me after the missed 2-point conversion, Tomlin kicked the extra point to cut the lead to 12, which is not the key number. 11 is the key number. Enough said right there. That certainly wasn't pretty when it comes to bad bets. And bad for the books. Middle Central. What do we have? The Colts totals. The Bills and the Colts total lands right in the middle. 51.5, 50.5, 51, close 50.5 at most books. Lands right on 51. That's never good. Bucks versus the Washington football team lands right in the middle, too. There were 7.5s out there for Tampa. The better bettors got them. Better bettors also took 10 with Washington. The game lands 8. Although the books probably preferred that result to a Bucks blowout with all the Tampa money. Still is not great when it lands in the middle. Let's see. Giannis was out. The Bucks from -12.5 to -8.5. They ended up beating the Cavs by 10. Another middle. And then, of course, yesterday, college hoops, Iowa, -9 up to -11, 11.5 against Minnesota. They beat the Gophers by 15. There you have it, man. A lot of insanity in the sports books this weekend. Little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, Prez.
And he told me that segment was going to be short. Teddy, I got to point out a couple of things in that segment because I thought you made 2 outstanding, I don't know what just lines. Overtime is where unders go to die. Genius. Don't be late to a wise guy party. That's got to go on a shirt, bro. Don't be late to a wise guy party. That is like 10 out of freaking 10 right there. Also, just to give everyone
let me be honest, just real quick. So overtimes where under goes to die, not my line. I picked that up over the years. But don't be late to a wise guy party. I don't know. I don't think I stole that from anyone. So that one we can use.
Trademark my Teddy covers. You're watching Wager Talk today, everybody. By the way, I had both sides of the Washington game, so I caught the middle. Does not happen often, though. I mean, twice a year. That one does not happen often. Want to welcome everyone into the show. Johnny K, Elliot, Arno O, EX, James, Lotus, Sabin. So many of you guys really appreciate the kind words welcoming back. I just want to give Steve Merrill a shout out, dude. I watched highlights, if you will, on the fast forward button of the shows. Merrill was awesome. We couldn't have picked a better, what do you call him? Assistant head coach. He's head coach worthy. That is for sure. Steve, thank you for covering, man. You did an incredible job. And most importantly, you were active in the comment section on YouTube, which is greatly appreciated because I take a lot of pride in communicating with our listeners, both live in the chat and later on in the comment section. Speaking of which, guys, please give us a like. Please hit that bell button at the top. Subscribe to our channel. Also, comments as well when we put the show up. Teddy, look, everybody is rolling, dude. I mean, Las Vegas Chris, who is joining us tomorrow, is on a 14-1 NFL run. Marco is killing it. He's on a 12-2 football run, 9-1 NFL run. I'm kind of getting a little lost in the mix. So I just want to say to everybody, I'm on an 11-2 NFL run. 11-2 NFL run. And I have been absolutely dominating NFL for the last 6 weeks. I mean, just ridiculous numbers. I have a 5% play up for this weekend. It's $9 Mondays. Go to WagerTalk.com. Get my 5% play for Monday. And, of course, Teddy, your 5% play for today. I know you hate when I promote myself. I don't do it often. But when you're as good looking as me, you are allowed every now and again. Would you like to respond to that?
So you said you don't know your percentage over the last. All I know is I'm 67% in the NFL over the last 11 weeks, and no one even talks about it.
I never said I don't know my percentage.
What have you done the last 6 weeks?
Not 67%, bro. but I have.
I've done that for the last 11 weeks, Prez, but yet somehow I'm never on these lists and I never get brought up. But I don't worry. I know that the people will find me. I don't stress about the streaks. The clients will come when you win.
Well, then on that note,
and this past weekend at WagerTalk was incredible. Everybody,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't everybody,
Oh my God.
it was one of those weekends where all the big cappers win all their big games, and those are great weekends when they happen, certainly for the staff.
Yeah, and look, dude, I want to give that's funny, Joe. Dude, I saw that, Joe. Check out Teddy's 2021 hot streak, everybody. He's 100 wins and 1 loss. That's a 99% average. No one is hotter. Oh, but a shout out to Carmine Bianco as well, Teddy. 19-5 NFL run. And Teddy, you asked me a question about my win percentage. I'm up 50% return on investment in the last 7 weeks of NFL. So I am thrilled with what I'm doing. But yeah, dude, I mean, your NFL season has been just outstanding. And it's not only the last 11 weeks, start to finish, bro. And not only that, Teddy, 7 years now, 57% average. Come on, man. I love you, bro.
I know.
I love you.
I'm pretty good at NFL.
You?
I'd love to get some NFL hype one day.
Guys out there.
But with Las Vegas Chris winning everything, how can you? I'm loving Chris winning contests. I mean, the dude's been incredible. What do you make? 200 grand in contest winning. So we'll have him on tomorrow. I look forward to talking to him. He's a real interesting cat.
Teddy, we were going to talk about wild card weekend, but really, we got so much going on. Matt's got so many prop bets. So we're going to jump to that. But guys, make sure to hit that like button. Please, I really, really do appreciate it. Joe, let's take a quick break, bring mid-major Matt on after, and then, of course, Ralph Michaels.
Right now, you can lock in 30 days of any NBA or college basketball plays, including 5% best bets released from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for just $6.63 per day. A 30-day NBA pass is priced at $189 and a 30-day college basketball pass at $189. But you can get both for only $199. To take advantage of this special offer, just go to WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Choose your favorite handicapper and lock in all basketball action for the next 30 days. Even better, there's no limit to how many handicappers this offer can be redeemed on.
Teddy covers the Prez. You're watching WagerTalk Today. I'm back from a small little vacay. Teddy, I know you're not a hockey guy, but I want to shout out Puck Time. It's a show that's important to me. It's one of my babies, and I'm handing one of my babies off to Carmine and Andrew McGinnis. It starts on Wednesday. There are 4 games in hockey on Wednesday. I am stoked about the hockey season starting. Guys, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Wednesday, Puck Time. Carmine Bianco and Andrew McGinnis sharing the hosting duties. I will be on as a guest from time to time, at least once or twice a week, and I am on the inaugural Wednesday show. So just excited about that. Teddy, I know you don't give a shit, but speaking of shit, I've been watching the show Schitt's Creek on Netflix. It is 100 out of 10. It is the single smartest sitcom I've ever seen in my life. It's smarter than Seinfeld, funnier than Friends. Guys out there, Schitt's Creek on Netflix. Let's bring Matt Joseph in. Matthew, my friend. Totally my fault on the NFL presidential address this past week. We didn't have one. First time in 6 years. That's on me. We'll be back on Wednesday. Me, Matt Joseph, and Ralph Michaels. And Matt, you're killing it in college basketball right now. 14-4 run. Congratulations, dude. Let's get into it, man. You got a whole lot of prop bets for us, and we'll do the first one, and then I got a great promo for everybody right after that. So, Teddy, I'll go twice. Mac Jones, what do you got for us, Matt?
All right, so Alabama's quarterback. I'm going to try and nail his night tonight, and basically we're going to start off with the over 3.5 passing touchdowns, and it's important to find the 3.5s. There are out there. There are some 4s. So this is the importance of when Teddy on the show continues to talk about shopping around and having many options. This is perfect case because 3.5 passing touchdowns means you win on 4. 4 means you push on the 4. And look, Jones has gone over this number in 2 straight games, 4 of his last 5. And when you hear Nick Saban talk throughout the week, he talked about the Ohio State secondary essentially being good enough. And I think that you're not going to be able to beat Ohio State by running the ball quite a bit. And I think that there's some value here in this 3.5 passing touchdowns. If Jalen Waddle plays, even if he's a decoy, I think Jalen Waddle was actually playing better than Devonta Smith was in the beginning of this season. People kind of forget about that. And as I said, Ohio State's secondary is their biggest vulnerability here. So I think over 3.5 passing touchdowns. And I'm also going to take the under on his rushing yards. Now, this one you have to find. It's not in every book. But 9.5 is very curious. He's only gone over this number once. He had 12 yards on 5 carries last week. His next highest total was 6 back on November 28th against Auburn, had 4 carries. Ohio State held Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence likes to run a lot. -8 yards on 10 carries last week. Remember, with college rushing, there's some sacks count as negative rushing yards. So if you can find it, Mac Jones under 9.5 rushing yards is arguably my favorite prop. It's just not as widely available as all the others we'll talk about.
Matt, I got to read out. We got a promo for you, dude. I want to get to it, and then we'll ask you a couple more props. Guys, buy 1 week, get 1 week free for Matt Joseph. Go to sportsmemo.com. $89 for the week, and you get another week free. And guys, listen to this. Number 1 overall in college football winning percentage. Number 1 overall in college football bowl profit. Number 1 overall in college football at Sports Memo. Number 1 in NFL team totals. Number 3 in college basketball sides. Number 5 in college basketball sides. 8-4 bowl season run. Killing it in college hoops. You give out props in the NBA. Dude, your numbers are ridiculous. It's a privilege to have you, and people, please take advantage of that offer. It's literally $89 for a week of Matt Joseph. You get the second week free. Matt, what do you got for Jeremy Ruckert?
The Ohio State tight end was kind of a revelation here. I'll admit, I don't watch a ton of Big Ten football. It's not my thing, as mid-major Matt would assume. But you watch that game against Clemson. The tight end had 3 receptions for 55 yards against Clemson in the Sugar Bowl. He had 4 receptions against Rutgers and Penn State. Hasn't played the whole season. Wasn't that healthy? And if you look at who's been killing Alabama this season, it's been the tight end. On our show last week, I gave out the over on receptions on Michael Mayer, the Notre Dame tight end. He had 7 receptions. Kyle Pitts, the Florida tight end, he had 7 receptions. Kenny Yeboah of Ole Miss, he had 7 receptions, and Jalen Weidermeyer of Texas A&M had 8 receptions. So to me, I think Jeremy Ruckert's going to be involved. I am a little bit worried about Luke Farrell. He's the other tight end, but I think you can exploit this Alabama linebacker group and across the middle. And Jeremy Ruckert over 2.5 receptions is where I'm looking here.
So you had a really interesting prop that I'm not convinced people are going to be able to find, but talk about it. You want Alabama money line and a whole bunch of over stuff. Number 1, where can you find that? And 2, what do you like about it?
Well, if I'm allowed to say, it's a book that's pretty widely available. I found it online. It's on BetMGM. They have it if you scroll down. And I was kind of disappointed. I'm not going to lie. A lot of books have been kind of disappointing on the prop side. I'm not going to mention which ones, but I haven't found as many player props as I would have liked. This is a championship game, and we're kind of lax there. But basically, and even if you think Ohio State's going to win, which I don't, but Alabama money line plus both teams scoring 30 points or more is plus money, which is essentially taking the money line and the total, which I thought was ridiculous, but it is plus money. And the Ohio State one was actually plus 420. So this is where, once again, shopping and finding the proper books and getting the right prices on some of these things, because, as Marco said, I feel like a lot of the betting public has not even started to look at this game yet. There are some unders on players in this game with regards to yards that I'm going to take probably later on in the day once everybody pushes the over up. And it's the same strategy used for the Super Bowl. If you like the overs, you get in early. If you like the unders, you let all the saps bet the overs, and then you get the extra juice or you get the extra yardage here. So shop around, use different books, because there are some player props out there. And this prop as well, if you can find it, Alabama money line plus both teams scoring over 30 points plus money at his sports book.
Matt, I absolutely love those type of props. And you, me, and Ralph talk about it a lot in the NFL presidential address. You know, the opportunity to just find better value playing props as opposed to taking Alabama and the over on the money line. So I absolutely love that stuff. Listen, dude, we can't thank you enough for being on the show. We'll see you on Wednesday, the NFL presidential address. Guys, make sure to head over to Sports Memo, get Matt Joseph's promo, buy 1 week for $89. Get this. Very few people are hotter than Matt right now. Brother, let's get you out of here. Quick break, Ralph Michaels, the pen, and then that's the show. Excited.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.
Teddy covers the Prez. You're watching Wager Talk Today. Guys, every day, 12 to 1 Eastern on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Hit the bell at the top right. Like our videos. Refer a friend. Suggest it to a friend. And, of course, make comments when the show is over. Ralph Michaels, come on in, baby. We missed you. I missed you. Not we. I missed you. It's a sad day when Ralph Michaels isn't in my life, and he wasn't for the entire week. Where are you, bro? There you are. What's going on, man? Let's get into it.
You think I wouldn't be here because I'd still be partying because the Browns beat the Steelers? So tell Terry Sherapin to shut the F up. Tell Marco to shut the F up. And the Browns did finally beat Pittsburgh for the first time in 17 years in Three Rivers. So
I have to ask you, Ralph, did you enjoy that as much as you're supposed to enjoy that? Or was it just, yeah. I mean, especially with Marco being a Steelers guy and you being a Browns guy. Did you get the final, that moment where you finally beat that team, or was it just another game?
Teddy, it was very meaningful. I mean, this goes back to when it was Father's Day. My son was visiting me in Cleveland when LeBron won that championship. We were both crying like little girls. I mean, because being a Cleveland sports fan for all those years and never having a championship, people don't realize how gnawing that is and just how draining. So, not having been to the playoffs in this long, I was at Red Right 88 back when Sipes should have beaten Oakland. I was at the Drive when Elway won. So my son sent me a text pic, and I'm looking at it right now. The Browns record from 2015 to 2018 was 11, 52, and 1. This year they were 11 and 5. So that puts it in perspective. And you know what? I'm okay if they lose to Kansas City because we've talked about this before. When you're an NFL team, it's a process. First, let's learn to win games. Then let's learn how to get to the playoffs. Then let's learn how to win a playoff game. They've made those steps. So I am happy the season's a positive, even if they do lose to Kansas City, because moving forward, they are going to be one of the AFC favorites next year. Maybe not the elite favorites, but that second tier, no question.
Okay, Ralph, let's get into your angles, trends, and Friends of Ralph play. Sorry I wasn't around last week to give one out. It would have won.
Steve Merrill stepped in. I'm sure it would have won, Prez. I'm sure you were. I was waiting for that email on Friday saying, guys, even though I'm vacationing, I'm watching the show daily, and I want to participate, but either, the emails didn't connect or what. I'm not sure. Bad. Angles of the day, guy, and I'm going to NBA, and by Wednesday we'll have playoff stuff. So Wednesday, Thursday, stay tuned. I will have playoff stuff. This is from the NBA stat sheet. We're going to go over the NBA stat sheet in a minute, guys. And it's just situations, teams playing the way they're playing, and the line is so overinflated. The Knicks have gone under 7 straight games. Going under 7 straight games is one thing. Going under by almost 15 points per game is a whole nother perspective. The Hornets, 1-8-1 over under the last 10 games at home. This total, 212. Knicks and Hornets under the total as the angle of the day.
And for what it's worth, Ralph, because that was one total that stood out to me this morning as well. I went back and looked. Every meeting between these two teams since the start of when the calendar turned to 2019 has stayed under the total and under this total. So you can certainly make a pretty strong case for the Knicks and the Hornets to stay under this evening.
Guys, for the situation of the day, I just wanted to run through the WagerTalk NBA stat sheet. I do it daily. I wait till we get a few weeks into the season, and the stat sheet is absolutely free. It's something that if you go to WagerTalk.com, go to my homepage, you will be able to check it out. And let's just take a look, at the one game we just talked about, guys. If you see the stat sheet, there are 4 lines for each game. The top line, year-to-date stats. The left-hand side, year-to-date overall. The right-hand side, you see the home and away splits. So example on the top line, to the right, Memphis, 2-1 ATS at home. The Cavs, 2-1 ATS on the road. Memphis, 1-1 over under the Cavs. The bottom 2 lines that are in bold are the last 2 weeks. And that's basically what I look at when I am handicapping the NBA. You are getting current form of the team. And not only are you getting those records, more importantly, I found when I put in the points for and points against and the average line and the average total, it gives you a better example of current form. So we talked about the Knicks and Charlotte. And if you look about halfway down, it's the 4th game down. You can see the New York Knicks this year, 2-8 over under at home. If you slide to the right, they are 1-4 at home over under. They are 1-4 on the road over under. If you look at Charlotte, 3-7 over under on the season. Look at home. Charlotte 0-4 this year home. And then the last 2 weeks, take a look all the way to the right. The New York Knicks and Charlotte Hornets a combined 0-6 over under the last 2 weeks. And then just quickly to break down how we talked about how much a team is winning or losing. If you look at the Knicks the last 2 weeks, they're 0-4 over under. You see the average score, 99.2 to 99. It means they won those games by 0.2 point average. That equals 198.5. Look at their average total, 216.5. That means they're going under by 18.3 per game. Charlotte Hornets at home the last 2 home, 104.8 to 106.5 average score. Average total, 222.5, under by 11.2 points per game. So ATS numbers and over-under numbers are very meaningful, but when you have numbers and margin, it makes the play so much stronger.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Ralph, what do you got for us for your Friends with Ralph play?
Well, we're going to soccer. It's Monday. A lot of soccer action going to Norman. Thank you, Nick, for the play. It is Italy Series A. It's over 2.5. You do have to lay 120 with Sampdoria at Spezia. So, Carm and all you Italians, if I said that wrong, I apologize. But the Friends of Ralph play of the day, Italy Series A from Nick Borman, Sampdoria and Spezia over 2.5.
The craziest thing is neither Teddy or I can actually help you with the pronunciations of those two. Teddy, do you even know if they're right? I'm going to go out on a limb, Ralph, and say that they aren't correctly pronounced, but I don't know. Teddy,
I think Spezia has to be right. Sampdoria. I mean, it's Italian, so, you know, Carmel will be chiming in pretty soon and letting me know if I botched that. So sorry if I did, guys.
Awesome show, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. A lot of you guys have been asking for a Prez Flex. That's tomorrow on Flex Tuesdays. Speaking of tomorrow, Teddy, we've got Las Vegas Chris right at the top, and then Dave Sharp, and of course, Ralph Michaels. A shout out to both Marco and Matt for joining us today. Ralph, you here every day, just so incredible. Teddy, I really did miss you, man, and I'm glad to be back. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to comment. Make sure to join us all week. I love talking to you all. Teddy, take us home.
Sure. Prez misses me while we're sitting there swearing at each other back in the chat. I love it. Hey, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us here on Wager Talk Today. We'll be back again right here in 23 hours. You can catch me in about 15 minutes with my NFL opening line report right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck. Enjoy the
Right now, you can lock in 30 days of any NBA or college basketball plays, including 5% best bets released from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for just $6.63 per day. A 30-day NBA pass is priced at $189 and a 30-day college basketball pass at $189. But you can get both for only $199. To take advantage of this special offer, just go to WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Choose your favorite handicapper and lock in all basketball action for the next 30 days. Even better, there's no limit to how many handicappers this offer can be redeemed on.